Hello everyone, my name is Cheney Hu. I am a Senior Product Manager for Sangfor aCloud product, which was previously known Sangfor Hyper-Converged Infrastructure. As you can see, I have 3 demo units by my side. And today, we are going to take this opportunity and test it out to see how performant and reliable our aCloud platform can be. So first, let me have a brief introduction of these demo units. Here we have 3 aServer 2005. Each server has been equipped with 4 960 GB solid-state drives and 8 4 TB SATA drives. They are connected by 2 switches, and the storage network is configured by the 2 10G ports from each of the servers, and the rest of the networks, which include VXLAN, business, and management, are configured and connected by 1G ports on each of the servers. Next, let's have a look at the VMs we've already created. We've created 3 Windows Server 2012 virtual machines on each of the nodes, and they can be pinned through by our pin instruction. And let's have a look at the interface here. The 3 virtual machines are connected to the edge by default, and they are ended with IP 81, 82, and 83. And respectively, they are running on the nodes which with IP ended with 101, 102, and 103. Now, from the terminal, I can see that all these VMs and servers are connected and can be accessed by my laptop. So first, let's have a try on the reliability test. I will pull out the management, the ASAN, and the business network and see if the workloads will be impacted by the network disconnection. Take a look at the switches. Come here. So this is the management network, this is the VXLAN, this is the business, and this are the storage network, which is connected by 10G connection. So first, I will try plugging out the management network on 101 node. And let's have a look at the pin interface, and you can see that this node is disconnected and I cannot pin through that. But the workloads here, the VMs here, they're running well and properly. There's no disconnection, there's no disruption. Everything is running well, and I can still access the platform, the management platform, because I've already configured a cluster IP. So let's plug this cable back to ETH0 on 101. Next, and you can see that the network, the management network is back online right away. Next, let's see what will happen if we plug out the storage cable from node 101. And you can see that we have 2 switches, and these 2 switches can provide a high availability configuration for the storage connection. Now, let me plug out one of the 10G optical cable, and you can see nothing happens because each of the node has 2 10G ports which are connected to 2 switches, so there's no impact on the storage network, even though I have already plugged out 1 10G optical cable. There's no impact at all. So let's plug it back. Very smooth. No impact on the business. No disruption. No disconnection. So next, let's have a try on the business network. This is the business network, and we have 3 1G ports from each of the nodes, which are connected to one of the switches. Now let me plug it out. This is the ETH2 port, and I've already plugged out the cable from node 101, which the ETH2 is used for business. And you can see right away that the VM on node 101 is offline right away. You cannot pin through, you cannot access that VM. But fortunately, because I have configured HA for in the circumstance of business network disconnect, and fortunately because I've enabled HA, high availability, for the circumstance of business network disconnect. So let's go back. You can see the VM is still disconnected, but pretty soon it will restart right away on the other nodes because of HA. And you can see that, the VM which was disconnected now can be pinned through again because of HA. And you can see the cable of the management cable from node 101 is still disconnected. So that means VM 81, which was running on node 101, now is running on either of the other 2 nodes to resume the service, to resume the business. And it's pretty soon. It took no more than 1 minute for this high availability to complete the failover. So let's plug it back in. And next, let's migrate the VM back. We can see that the VM 81, which was running on 101, now should be running on 102 or 103. Let's have a look at it. VM 101 81 ended with IP 81 is here, and I can go summary. I can see that now it is running on 102 because of HA. High availability rebooted, high availability mechanism rebooted this VM on 102 and resume the service for that VM right away. let's take a look at the performance of these three nodes. As I have mentioned, we have three virtual machines which are running on each of the node, and they are currently equipped with one virtual disk respectively. Let's go to the management console and go to storage. You can see that the performance of the three nodes with three VMs equipped with one virtual disk each can reach around 120,000 IOPS, and this is pretty impressive based on this hybrid configuration. And each VM, we can see that are currently running with an IO meter, which is used to test the performance of the VM. And you can see the VM here, running on 101, has an IOPS of 47,000, more than 47,000 IOPS. And the VM on 102 also around 48,000 IOPS. And the VM on 103 is nearly 50,000 IOPS. So the performance on aCloud, especially the new version 5.8.6, is very powerful and very impressive. And next, let's see what will happen if we take out one or two disks from one of the nodes, whether the data will be impacted or the performance or the business will be disrupted or not. Let's try it out and see what will happen. Now I'm going to pull out one of the SSD from node 2, which is sitting in the middle of the cluster. Let me just pull it out, and we have the VM running on the 102, and you can see the performance is not impacted at all. The performance is still around 48,000 IOPS, and there's no business impact, there's no disruption on the VM running status. And you can see the VM on 102 is ended with an IP82. It can be pinned through. The business is not disrupted because of the SSD plugging out. And the performance also no impact at all. What if we plug out one more disk? At this time, let's plug out one HDD hard drive and see what will happen. It's pretty heavy because it's hard drive. Okay, and now we have two disks pulled out from 102, and you can see the performance of the VM running on 102 has no change, has almost no change. It's still around 48,000 IOPS, and it still can be pinned through. No business disruption, no performance impact. This is quite impressive. The reliability is simply amazing based on aCloud. And because I have plugged out two disks, so there will be alarm right away showed as a banner on top of the interface. I can go to the details and it will tell me that the cache disk, because I've already put out a cache disk and a SSD, and I can restruct the data right away, or I can just leave it until the time that I feel is right for the reconstruction. So I can do the data reconstruction right now. Because on the new version, we have improved the data structure on the virtual storage. we have adopted the striping technology to make the storage performance a lot better, and also the data reconstruction time will be much less. And we can see the data disk is offline. It's reconstructed. Click OK. And you can see the data reconstruction process from the task window. Everything is under your control and under your monitoring. Still, let's have a look at the business. The business has not been impacted by the disks offline. And the data reconstruction is underway. You can see, the VM running on the node 102, which has 2 disks pulled out, are still running strong. The performance has not been impacted at all, still around 48,000 IOPS. So everything is running well, running fine, even though we pulled 2 disks out of this node. We can have a look at the data reconstruction. It is going very fast, and it will take no longer than several minutes for the data reconstruction to complete. And after it's completed, your data copy will be recovered. You can still have the full data integrity and data copy protection. You can see from the processing bar that the data reconstruction has almost completed. And after the data reconstruction, you will have the 2 copies of all of your data in the 3 nodes once again. Now the data reconstruction has already been completed, and we can see that it took totally around 6 minutes. Let's get back to the management console and have a look at the performance history of the storage. You can see the performance actually hasn't been impacted much. There's almost no performance impact during the last 10 minutes. It's very consistent, and the performance is around 120,000 IOPS. During the data reconstruction, there's almost no performance degradation. So next, let's push it a little further. Okay, as you can see, we still have the SSD and HDD from the node 2 plugged out. And now I am going to power down. Now I'm going to simulate a power failure of the node 3 and see how the business, how the VMs and the data will respond in that circumstance. Let's come here. And I'm going to plug out the power cable for node 3, and we will have a look and what will happen to the VMs and to the data in the cluster. Let me plug this power cable out to simulate a power failure. As you can see, now node 3 is out of power. Let's have a look at the pinning interface. You can see that because VM83 is running on the node 3, which is ended with IP 103, which is with an IP ended with 103. And now the VM and the node are not accessed, cannot be accessed because of the power failure. But we have already enabled HA for the node for the VM83, which is running on the failed node 3. On the failed node 3. We go back to the compute. You can see the VMs. Now you see the VM which was originally running on node 103 now is being powered off. It's being powered on because of the high availability mechanism which is natively built in and integrated in the platform. And after it's powered on, it should be connected right away. And you can see here, because of the HA mechanism, VM83 is now recovered and it can be pinged through by the original IP. Even though the node 3 is still failed because the power is still in outage. And due to HA mechanism, the VM83 is being rebooted. The VM83 was rebooted on another node. Let's go to VM103 and we can have a summary look of this VM. You can see now this VM is running on 102. And it took a very short period of downtime for the VM to fully recover from a failure status, a disconnect status. You can see it took less than 1 minute for the VM to be fully recovered and accessed from the ping instruction, by the ping instruction. And because the node 3 is out of power, and we can see there's an alarm which was raised on the top of the management console as a warning to tell you that this node is in power outage. You got have a look, have a check on that node. But your business, which was running on node 83, can be automatically recovered by the HA mechanism, which is natively baked in the aCloud platform to ensure you won't have a long business disruption in the power outage or node failure. So now let's have a recap on what we just did on these 3 demo units. So first, we plug out the management cable from node 1, and the business, the VMs running on these nodes have not been impacted, and the data also is intact without any corruption. The only problem there is that we cannot access node 1, but you can still access the cluster because we've configured the cluster IP. you can access the cluster platform with the cluster IP. Second, we plug out the ASUN cable, optical cable from node 2, and there's no impact, no data loss, no business disruption on this platform because we have already configured link aggregation for the ASUN storage connection on this demo unit, on this demo in this demo environment. And thirdly, we plugged out the business cable from node 1, and because we have enabled HA for the VM which is running on node 1 to fail over to another node in the event of the business network disconnect. So we can see that after less than 1 minute, the VM which was originally running on node 1 was rebooted on another node to resume the service. And for the second part of this demonstration, we plugged out 2 disks from node 2, and you can see that the performance of the VMs running of the VM that was running on node 2 has not been impacted. Before we plugged out the disks, the performance of that VM was around 48,000 IOPS. After we plugged out 1 SSD and 1 HDD from this node, the performance of that VM hasn't dropped at all, because we have this multi-copy mechanism. You know, the VM has 2 copies of data, 2 replicas of its data running on two of the nodes. And after we plug out this SSD and HDD, the VM, there will be a warning right away on the management console, and we can rebuild the data which was stored in these 2 disks in the available space on the other disks on that node or on the other nodes. And you can see the data reconstruction is pretty fast. It took less than 2 minutes to reconstruct all of the data stored on the plugged out disks. And for the third part of the demonstration, we simulated a power failure of node 3 by plugging out the power cable from node 3. And the VM that was running on node 3 was rebooted on node 102 right away. It took less than 1 minute for this failover to take place. So HA, high availability, has a very combined with high availability and multi-copy mechanism on the aCloud platform, your business and your data can be protected to the extreme. And one more thing that is worth mentioning here is the performance. As we have mentioned at the beginning of this demonstration, we have 3 VMs running on 3 nodes, and the storage performance from the storage interface is around 120,000 IOPS totally. And remember that all these nodes are configured with hybrid disks. We only have 4 disks on each of the node, and the rest of the disks are all mechanical spinning drives. So the performance is also staggering. And even though you plugged out a VM, even though you plugged out a disk or 2 disks, or even you power off a node, the performance of the VMs are still running well and properly. So that is brought by the superior performance improvement of aCloud 5.806. Thank you for your attention, and I'm looking forward to seeing you trying our platform in the near future and see how you can transform your data center experience and accelerate your time to market for your line of business. Thank you.